guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to use the free version of Stitchfiddle, and we're going to start by choosing our craft. As you can see, there is a lot of things that you can choose from crochet, cross stitching, knitting, quilting, everything that you can think of that will create a chart and will be useful for, you can create using Stitchfiddle. But for today, we are going to be choosing crochet, and for our kind of crochet project, we're going to choose crochet Colorwork. For example, for pixel crochet, to do pictures and then turning them into a crochet tapestry, this is what you're going to choose. There's a wide variety of other things that you can start working with, but for the simple ones, let's just go crochet Colorwork. So yarn, preference, no preference. I like choosing Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn brand simply because it's readily available, and if I ever run out of it, I can just run to the store. So you can choose whatever you want. I'm just going to choose Hobby Lobby, and you're going to choose how to start. We can choose from an empty chart, and then we make our own design. So if you have something in mind, you can do that. But for today, I'm going to show you how to start from a picture. So we're going to click, and I have already downloaded. I downloaded in, let's see. This is the picture I downloaded from Pixabay. We're going to use this as an example. As you can see here, the artwork is very simple. There are color changes, like for example right here, you would go from a gray to a black, and then you would go from a gray to a white, but you can tweak that, and I'll show you how to tweak that. But the design itself is very simple. After you've chosen the picture, you choose if you want to crop the image, if you want to rotate it, and then you choose the size. If you want to make this into a square, or if you want to make it into the exact size. Now that really depends on your gauge, and you're going to go here on Gauge Calculator. For me, my stitch count is 16 by 16. And because I've been making graphs, I kind of know already, and that it's not changing. And this is based off a 5mm crochet hook. So every time I make a 4" by 4" square using a 5mm hook, I get the same amount of rows and of stitches, 16 and 16. So I'm going to apply that. Now you see here, the size, this is what it comes down to. So this is the sample swatch, and then this is the completed project, but that is based off of the size that you're telling it here. So we're going to apply, and this chart is for a project 37.5 inches by 37.5 inches. So if you want an exact size, you can tweak it. You see the size goes down, size goes down, and you see the resolution goes down as well. You can tweak that over here by the amount of colors that you use. So you can choose to use less colors, more colors, the brightness, choose the brightness, let's go down here, the contrast, and then you see how the colors, they're being matched right here. It tells you what colors from the Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn, the colors that you can go and find and match them. So the more colors you use, the more color changes you have, and the more detail is going to be. Now you can choose to make it a square, and it's going to be 16 inches by 16 inches. As you can see here, the bigger the project, the more detailed it becomes. So this is why you have to choose images that are less detailed. Now we can crop it a little bit because maybe we don't need those extra rows here. Maybe we can get away with just doing this. And we can make it maybe smaller. So if we were to do the exact size, we can just make it smaller. Let's do it again. Okay. Now this is, I think, perfect for making blankets or for making larger tapestries, because I mean, especially for detailed images like this, this is going to be really cute for a baby blanket. It's a good size for a baby blanket. I think this is probably a good size for a baby blanket. If not, this is probably a little too big. But let's do a 34 by 34. So you can see here we have 20 colors. Let's choose 11 colors. You might be able to get away with 11 colors. Now you can see here, now we can add, take away some contrast. Oh, this is like pretty. See, it goes into pastels and then it goes into dark. So I know that there is a very technical way to use these functions. For me, I just like to kind of get a rough estimate of the colors, what works well, what looks good, and I'll change the colors when I get onto the next part. I like to just see what it does to the different pixels. You see how okay, so when you play here with the brightness and the contrast, some of the details disappear. If you look at the moon, it comes and goes. You save the chart, it takes you to the free version. So as you see here, this chart is going to be humongous. Now, you have, let's see, let's zoom in. You can see everything here. Now, you can take away lines, you can get rid of lines. Now, from here, you see the screen. It's really concentrated on the bear. So if I wanted, I could click on this color. Oh no, it's lagging. All right, double click. Merge and delete. Now, my polar bear is in the color gray beard. So I merge the colors and all of the sage green is going to turn to gray beard. So you see here, it turned into that. Now you see here, this is a green. I don't want it to be that green. I'm going to choose this color. You see where it says change is not saved and you roll over and it changes color. So I can tell that it's a dark denim. So all of these forest green colors, I'm going to switch them over to, or I'm going to merge them to dark denim because I want the shadows to be the same. And now this is dark denim. Because there's not that very many dark denim in here in this polar bear, I'm simply going to click on the color gray beard and I'm going to start clicking where I want to change. If you see here, this little area right here, there's more. So you click and you drag your mouse and that's it. So we're going to start just filling it in here. Maybe tweaking some of the things so that it looks more polished, if you will. And then to go undo, you click the little arrow and that's it. All right. So as you see here, I went a little too far on the undo. I just go back and shade it in. Let's see. I like the ground to be this color and I want the bear to have this little, like its little paw to be a little bit more defined. If you see here, let's give it some more definition. Let's go back into dark denim and then fix the shadow here of the other leg. Let's here, like that, and you start tweaking it a little bit. Let's see if I can zoom in. And I'm just doing this from the zoomed out version because I think it gives me a better idea of how it's going to be looking. And then once I get a feel for it, I can start going into the bigger picture. Now, for example, I feel like maybe this color, oops, let's undo this. Now you see here, maybe I can do the stars in an antique white. Let's just see how it looks. All right, so this is how you would do it for free. I don't really like the mountains in that color. What color is this? This is the color Spa. I've seen this color. It's a very grayish green. I don't think I like that color. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to open it and you see it comes up with all of the options that I Love This Yarn has to offer. So they chose this color because it's a more closely color match to the image. So this is the color Glacier. Let's see what that color does. Okay, so then you see here, they give you a much bigger swatch if you can compare it. This is the color Spa, this is the color Glacier, and you can interchange them. So say I want to change it out, and I just switched it out. What if I want to make, for example, this is the color Graybeard. Now, I don't want to change everything that's in the color Graybeard to, let's say I want to do yellow, right, for the moon. Let's say I want to give this blanket a pop of color, but I don't want to switch it over because the polar bear is that color. So then I would add a color here, And I would choose a color. Let's see, something, okay, like the buttercup, light, cream, lemon ice. Okay, so I'm in between lemon ice and buttercup. So something that I really like to do with color or choosing colors is if I don't have that particular yarn or if I haven't worked with it and I don't remember how it looks like, I like to go into the website and look at all of the colors. So something that would match really pretty. Let's see. Oh, let me look at the color Glacier so I can get a better feel. Let's look at the list because I know them by name, not necessarily by how they look like. All right, so I would have to look into sea blue. No. All right, so antique white is a big one. All right, so antique white is coming up. So that would be the color of the mountaintops, like the snow. Okay, buttercup. Let's see. Ooh, okay, that's a very pretty pastel yellow. Okay, I like that. Let's see. What other colors did we see there? Oh, okay, cream. Okay, I'm kind of leaning more towards buttercup. Okay, this is gray beard. That's a really pretty color for the bear. Let me see what else. No, I like the other one. Let's see. I'm looking for Arctic ice. Okay, glacier and spa. Oh, okay. I see why they chose spa. Spa is more of a darker color. Glacier is very bright. Arctic ice is completely like a pastel. Let me see. What other colors did we see? All right. I guess those were the other colors. All right. So we're going to go with buttercup. Oh, where'd it go? Cream. Oh, where'd it go? All right. Oh, it was lemon ice. Is that the color that we saw? Lemon ice. Oh, okay. It's lemon. Okay, so it was lemon ice and buttercup. It's a tough choice. I think I still want to go with buttercup. And look, it's fine if you don't choose your colors right away, because when you go to the store or when you see all the colors together from wherever you're going to buy them, you put them all together and then you see what pops out and what works and what doesn't work. But it's fine. We're going to go with buttercup. Let me see. I feel like it's more, well, yeah, buttercup. We're going to go with buttercup. All right, buttercup. We're going to add it and then we're going to click on it. Make sure it's clicked on. And in the picture you see here, the left side is what's colored in yellow. So this one right here is what we're going to color in. And what I like to do is you can zoom in close and just kind of move it with your mouse. All right, so you can do this and you can just kind of go like here and shade it in. I like to just do this because I don't want to lose. I like to do the outline first just in case I mess up and then I don't know where one starts and one ends. So we're gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna skip that one because I feel like it should be a peak. And no, let's go back. And see, this is the most time consuming part, is figuring out what looks good, what works best. And I guess for me, this is the fun part. But this is how you do it. It's a lot of trial and error. And oops, let me go back. So we're gonna go with antique white. And since I'm already here, I'm just gonna color it in. There we go. And we're gonna do that. Let's see. We're gonna kind of color that in like that. Make sure everything is shaded in. I know it gives a lot more detail, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's going to really matter, and it's just going to give me a headache when it comes to the color changes. So I think I'm gonna do, yeah, I don't want to really have that very many color changes, so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna finish the second part of the moon. I know I shaded a little bit more than I cared to shade, but it'll be fine. We can tweak it as we go. All right, so like that. And that color, I think it's this one, dark denim. There we go. Okay, so now that we've tweaked some of it, as you can see here, it looks cleaner, it looks neater this way. This little tree right here, you would have to go in there and kind of give it some shape. No biggie. I've already shown you how to do or how to select colors. So really, this is the fun part. And I'm going to show you just some of the stuff here. For example, let's go here on the bottom portion. All right, so you see here, show my charts. You scroll up and down. As long as you have this selected and you move your mouse wheel, or the up and down on your mouse, you should be fine. Just try not to click on anything because you will change the colors. Let's see. This is the bottom panel. In the bottom panel, you can see your color palette. Let's see what else. You can change the font if you really wanted to. Let's see. Next, so in order to get the written instructions, you have to get the premium version. There is a section here for you to write your notes. Okay, so here, this is amazing. You can write, you can do text. So I find that is great. So let me see. Oh no, I can't do that. They don't have that very many fonts, but they do have some that will work really nice with, pixel art and graphs. I think it's an amazing way to do this if you really wanted to. If not, honestly, you can, you do the letters yourself if you wanted to here. So it's really not that complicated. But if you want to make your life easier, you have to pay. Almost like with anything in life. Guys, sorry about that. We were rudely interrupted by my other camera that stopped working. But here we are. All right. So as I was saying, when you do the progress tracker, you can see here, you'll just go up as you go and as you work your rows. You see here, the blue little line here changes and it gives you your progress throughout your project. All right, so you can't see the written instructions when it comes to the free version. So you really can't do the hard stuff when it comes to the free version of it. It's not impossible to do, but it's just easier. If you see here, if you pay for a whole year, you're looking at $275 per month. But when you do a monthly subscription, you're looking at $550. So if you do this, you're looking to pay $33 for 1 year, which, depending if you think this is worth it for you, it might not be, and you might just move on with your life. So that's the written instructions when it comes to downloading. I just quickly did my account. I have my own personal account on premium, but this is my free account, the one I use for, I guess, teaching now. So yeah, you have to activate your email and they will email you your chart. This is the undo button. This is how you draw stitches, progress tracker settings, but we won't be using that. Brightness, if you want to adjust the brightness. Now, if you want to edit your chart, you go here and you see here there are symbols. You click on it. Colors, you can add more colors. You can switch colors around, stuff like that. And it tells you the stitches that you are going to be using. So as you see here, for the most part, I'm going to be using black and Arctic Ice. I'll hardly need any in the color Stonewash and Linen. So that's kind of for you to gauge how much yarn you should buy. It's, of course, not a real estimate or an accurate estimate by any means, but it's just for you, I guess, to get an idea, not to get one skein, but to get quite a few skeins. So as you see here, we still have to tweak the background right here. But all of that comes with practice. Let's do 2 for the little ears right here. Let's give it some more definition here. And we can always do the snout later. We can always add eyes. Oh, that's not the color. This is the color for this piece. If you, for example, want to add more rows, you can. If you want to add multiple rows, if you want to add columns to the left, to the right, if you want to add multiple, this is where you do it on the edit. Now, say, for example, you realize that maybe the size is off. Maybe something is weird here. Now you can adjust your stitch count. And this is where I guess the most important piece of advice comes into play. When you are working with this kind of project, it's very important that you choose the right yarn, that you choose the right hook size, and that you keep your tension even. Now, I know many of you guys like to do amigurumi, and you know that when you work amigurumi, there's a different way of doing single crochets. You'll do, instead of yarning over, you're going to yarn under, and that gives you a much more structured piece. It gives the stitches much more definition. It makes them more compact and stiffer. So keep that in mind when you are working with this technique. If you're going to be using that technique, then work it that way, yarning over or yarning under throughout the whole project. If you do yarn under, you're going to have more stitches per row. If you adjust your hook size to a larger hook size, then you're going to have less stitches per 4x4 square. I don't know if that's making sense, but if you do them with a smaller crochet hook and you do the yarning under technique, then you'll have more stitches per 4x4 square. I don't know if that's making any sense, but keep that in mind when you are making your gauge, and it'll give you a better idea of how to play with the sizes of your pieces. But for me, because this would be a blanket, I'd have no issue with it. And of course, you can add more rows here. You can remove in the direction. It gives you here an example of where you're starting your work and how you are working every row. And you can switch it up. You can go from, instead of from bottom to top, you can do top to bottom. You can just switch it all around. You can do diagonal if you want to do corner to corner. But this really comes into play if you're going to be using the paid version, where you're going to use the written instructions, because that's where all of this is going to be adjusted and is going to be accounted for. When it comes to numbers, you choose where you start, but again, it's on the premium version. The grid, it's another thing that you really can only do when it's paid. So I think I'm going to do my branches like this. And the reason why I'm making this thicker is because once you are actually working on the really big blanket, when you think about it, 3 stitches comes out to maybe this thick. So it's something to really keep in mind. Let's see, maybe I can do this one right here. All right, like that. All right, I'm gonna keep working on my little project here. I find this really relaxing, to be frank. Let's do right here. And let's do here, kind of like that. So this is the entire chart. If you see here, the mountaintop here has been cleaned up compared to this right here. The polar bear has been tweaked a little bit. The tree has been given a lot more shape. And now you see what I mean? 3 stitches gives it, in the overall picture, more definition compared to just maybe doing 1 stitch. So that's something that you should keep in mind when you are tweaking your project. All right, so this is the picture, and this is what we have here. Of course, you can change the colors, you can tweak it as you want, but that really comes later. What I wanted to do right now is show you how to clean the image, and we're still not done. You see here the mountain here. That definition, or that line, should be smoother, kind of how it is here. I like to pull out the original picture to see where I can change it. Like, for example, here there is another rock, or I don't know what this is, but you can make it into a little mountain. You can make it into another piece of ice. You can make it into another tree. Doesn't really matter. And you see here, so then I would like to come over here and tweak it into maybe little snowballs. Here, the slope on the mountain can be cleaner, and you can go back in there and then adjust square by square. So that's something that maybe you can do. And this is something that you will do as you go. So there's a lot of things, but I don't want to bore you with that. I just want to show you how to get to this point. And now that you've gotten to this point, you've got your size, you've got an idea on how big you want this pattern to be, then you can start going in there and then tweaking and seeing what works best. Kind of like how we did here with the tree, with the polar bear, and you see here the shadows, and you can later on add the cute little snout and the little details if you wish to do so. So Stitchfiddle is one of the main websites that you can use to create tapestries, and it gives you the written instructions. So that is amazing if you're wanting to get into creating your own patterns and selling them on Etsy. But you do have to make sure that wherever it is that you're getting your images is completely free, and that they are okay with you selling the tapestry using their art. So this is just for teaching purposes, and this is for personal use. Like if I was to make this blanket, I would, make it for, I make it as a gift for a cute little baby. So hopefully soon that is in the works, not for me, but for someone that I love and I care for. And, this might be a good baby shower gift. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for being here. And if you want to see what the premium version can do and how it differs, leave it in the comment section. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Stitchfiddle. I just wanted to share with you how I use Stitchfiddle for my crafts. I realized that it's a very good tool to have in your arsenal, especially if you're wanting to up your crochet game and getting to color work, or you really enjoy color work and you want to do something different other than amigurumi, or maybe you have a very ambitious project that you want to get into. And I highly, highly, highly recommend Stitchfiddle. As you saw here, you can do a lot of things with the free version, but the premium version has tools that would maybe make your life a little bit easier. So it really just comes down to your personal preference. I give you a tip and this is special for the people that made it this far into the video. If I was inspired by a picture and I really loved the color palette, but I didn't know where to start, I would put the picture here and I would look and see at all of the colors. These are the yarn colors that match this picture. If I was to make, I don't know, if I wanted to make a blanket or if I wanted to make a sweater or whatever, but I was inspired by this picture, I would go to Hobby Lobby and I would choose some of these colors here. And it would give me a good starting point. And I'd take a picture, go to Hobby Lobby, put all of the colors together, see what I like. Maybe I can mix and match with other colors that are not in the list. And it gives you a good idea on where you're going with your project. So that's another freebie for you. So thank you for making it this far. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Bye.